So let's talk about our most drafted players outside the top 100. Honestly, the segment before this is easy, guys. We're talking about the stars, the expected to be stars. Matthew, what do you got for us for your outside the top 100? You got a homer pick for us? You're due for one, for sure.
Obviously, it's been an off season. It's been a whole off season. I've been mostly just having to talk about the Commanders with my wife and kids, and they're sick of it. So it's good. Finally,
do they respond?
An
or
obvious.
Do you just keep talking?
No, I just screw them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're in this household. You'll
listen to it.
You're going to listen to me breaking down every single play of Jaden Daniels' training camp. But I'm going to talk about Brian Robinson, my guy B-Rob. One of the toughest guys in the NFL, one of the toughest guys in the world. Guy gets shot. He's back playing football 5 weeks later. Mark my words here. So Brian Robinson, who on DraftKings is going like I think his ADP is 112. Brian Robinson is going to have a monster year. I'm going to guarantee you double-digit touchdowns from Brian Robinson this year, assuming health. He's going to have a monster year. And I think he has a better year than my friend and fantasy life investor, Austin Eckler. I think Brian Robinson has a better fantasy year because I think that what's going to happen here in Arizona, and I feel pretty strongly about this, is that Brian Robinson, if you remember back when Cliff Kingsbury went in Arizona, at one point he had James Conner and he had Chase Edmonds there. That's what it's going to be. And James Conner, by the way, got a ton of touchdowns. He got all the in close stuff. And Chase Edmonds was like the third down back. It was like the passing. That's what it's going to be. That's Eckler's going to be the Chase Edmonds. During Cliff Kingsbury's tenure in Arizona Cardinals ranked top 8 in the NFL in red zone rushing rate. Kenyon Drake. You heard me. Kenyon Drake. I'll never forget this. In 2020, Kenyon Drake led the NFL in goal-to-go carries, playing for Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals. 2021, the year after, James Conner finished second in goal-to-go opportunities. Brian Robinson, who is so good around the red zone, around the 5-yard line, goal-to-go situations, nose for the end zone, all the cliches you want. Going back to his days at Alabama, they've improved the offensive line in Washington. I don't know that it's great, but I think it's going to be better. And I think Brian Robinson is just going to get a massive amount of opportunities, especially because Jaden Daniels, while he is a mobile quarterback, he's not a mobile quarterback like Josh Allen. He's just not built that way. He's a skinny kid. And so I just don't think they're going to be throwing him into the end zone, running into the end zone the way that they do a Josh Allen or an Anthony Richardson or some of the bigger mobile quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, if you will, right? I think more often than not, when they get in close, they're giving it to Brian Robinson, and he's going to convert based on everything we've seen so far. Brian Robinson is going to have a monster year, and I'm gobbling up as much of him as I can.
Okay. Well, my next one is Rashid Shaheed, who is my annual drug. Just can't quit Rashid Shaheed and the talent.
Well, just a Saints wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I can't choose Michael Thomas as my most drafted player because he's unemployed currently. So I'll go with Rashid Shaheed. I just think that with that team,
why don't you hire Michael Thomas for Bet the Edge?
I don't think
that would be nice of you. Throw your guy a bone.
Bet the Edge with Jay Croucher, Drew Dinsick, and Michael Thomas.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That's a nice ring to it. I'd do that ad read.
Yeah,
I do any ad read they ask me, but I would definitely do that one with some joy.
Yeah. Can't guard Mike, can bet Mike.
Perhaps. Can bet Mike.
But Rashid Shaheed, who right now it's Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, and then not much else. Like Cedric Wilson Jr., A.T. Perry, who won 1 week last week, was like the number 1 receiver on the Saints. They didn't have anyone.
Wake Forest legend.
The thing with Shaheed is just that there has always been that theoretical connection with Derek Carr throwing deep to Rashid Shaheed. And it took place sometimes last season, but not as much as it should. He just wasn't on the field that often last year. Like his snap count was consistently low. I just think that with the flashes that he's shown, there is so much upside there. All wide receivers over the past 2 years who have had minimum 100 targets, he leads all of them with 11.1 yards per target. That is significant. He and Olave are the only wide receivers on the roster who had more than 40 targets last year. And I think with Derek Carr, compare the discourse on Derek Carr to like Jared Goff is being talked about as an MVP candidate. Kirk Cousins is being talked about as the savior in Atlanta. I think both of those guys are better than Derek Carr. I don't think they're like 2 tiers in front of Derek Carr. Like Derek Carr was so banged up last year. He's constantly playing hurt. I don't think we really got to see him at his best. So I think that he's going to have a bit of a bounce back year, and remind everyone that, yeah, he's not a top 10 quarterback, but this year he could be a top 16, top 17 quarterback with these. And I think Rashid Shaheed can be a big beneficiary of that.
I'll stick with a wide receiver here as well, Jay, and I'll go back to the rookie well with Jalen Polk, who, if you follow training camps throughout the summer, and I know it's early, but Polk has just been a standout for New England. And this is a team that desperately needs somebody to step up in this room. I mean, once again, same thing as the Giants. New England didn't have a wide receiver with 80-plus targets last season. They are figuring out the quarterback situation. Jacoby Brissett will hold down the fort until Drake May is ready. Polk has had time with both of those guys. He's really flashed with Drake May. This might have to be one, and there's a reason his DraftKings best ball ADP is almost 145. This might have to be a little patience required, a little bit of a stash here for Polk, where when May comes in, that connection will be kind of tailor-made, pre-built out of the gate. But if you want somebody that's going to be the guy in New England down the road, I think it's going to be Jalen Polk quite soon.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, again, as we sort of talk about some of these quarterback situations, to your point, Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter.
Yes.
Like, they don't want Drake May starting. And I think that the only way Drake May starts this year is if New England is totally out of it. And I don't think they're going to be out of it, because I think they're going to play tough defense. And Jacoby Brissett is like, quarterback 19 in the NFL, quarterback 22. Like, he's
him and
not
Justin Herbert.
Yeah, he's fine. No, I'm just from a pure skill standpoint. Like, I mean, right? I mean, like, obviously, but we're not talking fantasy. But Jacoby Brissett is fine. He's completely solid and serviceable.
Functioning.
Like
something the Jets chased for most of last season.
Jets would have been in the playoffs with Jacoby Brissett as the quarterback last year.
Yeah, my favorite game.
100%.
Might have been the worst quarterback they would have made the playoffs with. Maybe it is Jacoby Brissett. I mean, it would have been Mike White the year before if he'd just been healthy.
Right, and the Jacoby Brissett line is not. It's not what it is anymore. He's past it.
1,000%.
That's the Josh Dobbs line.
Yeah, the Pastronaut. Look, Jacoby Brissett is. I'm not going to say Jacoby Brissett's good, but he is competent and serviceable. He is, and I mean this as a compliment. He is a professional quarterback who will be able to run an offense. And if Jalen Polk is open, Brissett's going to get him the ball. So I'm actually not worried about the quarterback situation in New England. It's a crowded wide receiver room. Obviously, we saw Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas get some run last year. They've got a bunch of other, veterans back as well. It's a crowded room, but you're absolutely right, Connor, that the reports of Jalen Polk, who I know you liked coming out of college, have been terrific this entire offseason. It's been a very steady drumbeat for Jalen Polk.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.